At the very onset, again, a very warm welcome, all of our participants and our eminent panelists present here. Very good morning and a very warm welcome. And I hope everybody is in good health and spirit and present here to deliberate. And thank you again, Ms. Vineeta, for introducing the panelists today and giving this webinar a great opening and passing this baton to me to moderate the session. So briefly about the theme that you are aware, post-pandemic practice of talent acquisition and management. Globally, the COVID-19 pandemic has been a major destabilizer for job markets. And we saw job losses and at the same time many counterintuitive trends and much more in between. We see boomerang hiring happening and whatnot. So firms are responding in varying degrees, having their own share of challenges and opportunities to manage the talent ecosystem. And that's why we are here. So there are certain questions that arise as to how these job markets are navigating through this extraordinary scenario, and what are the emerging trends which have grown into being more permanent settings in our hiring protocols in firms. So let's dive in to understand how an ongoing competitive talent landscape is faring and how firms are responding to it with the help of our panelists here. The basis of the change happening in the organization is one in particular. Yeah, pandemic happens to be one of them, but organizations change and we change with the organizations, or we change the organizations and the scenario. So that being definitely the focus, let us try to unfold in this particular webinar the talent landscape in reference with certain generic questions that I, as a moderator, will pose to the panel today, which sets the context of this particular webinar. However, we are not limiting to only these questions. These are just up in the air for us to handle and address. Also keeping in mind our participants, these questions would be really relevant and if answered would uncover a lot for us, especially us students and academic fraternity and also the practitioners. Some of the questions that I have is the talent you already have, is the talent you need, right? So this is a question to the organizations, firms. What a qualified candidate is like 2022 onwards, according to you. Where and how top talent is being sourced, and the extent of technology-based talent acquisition, because technology, again, playing a very pivotal role in almost every function, every part of our lives. So that as one of an important angle. And how do you see, what are the competencies that recruiters are looking for in their candidates? The last question is also similar to what I just posed earlier, what's a qualified candidate is like. But if you could also throw some light in terms of the competencies that you seek in your potential candidate as a recruiter, or organization seek as a recruiter, would be great if we could address these questions along with our participants, along with the panelists. So we look forward to listening to our views of our domain experts here today. And I hope that the answers that we get are two important and critical questions, provide us better understanding and practical insights as to how the world of talent management is emerging from the challenges thrown in specifically by COVID-19 pandemic. And there is definitely a beyond to it, so we'll focus that too. So let me briefly mention a few points as a moderator, the role of a moderator entrusted to me. Is that we would want to make the most of the time available to us and to sail through this particular webinar smoothly. May I request all our panelists to try to contain their address in around 10 minutes, right? This way we would get the opportunity to hear all of you. and would get the time for interacting with our participants in Q&A section. And for the participants, while you are listening to our eminent panelists here, you can think about your questions that you might have. And there would be a specific question answer section towards the end of the deliberation. And one thing that is, in this stipulated time, getting into everything in tremendous detail is not possible. So please feel free to connect with all of us here, with the panelists specifically afterwards as well. So keep in the interest of time, I'm mentioning this, right? Because you could definitely any day connect with our participants, our panelists. So I'm going to start off with our first speaker, Mr. Bharat, head HR business partner, Yamaha Motor Solutions. Mr. Veer, yeah, so the screen is yours.
Thank you so much for inviting and to setting the context about the today's topic. Thanks, Miss Vineeta, for the warm welcome, and Prachi, and also would like to thank FW and FORE School of Management for organizing a webinar on such a important topic, which even we as a industry practitioner are not sure that what would be the right way to deal with this situation. But we'll definitely try to share our experience with the students and the community that what we are doing right now, and maybe we need to again reevaluate what need to be done, because this pandemic is still ongoing and every day new variants are coming, and we are not sure that what will happen tomorrow. So I'll try to cover my discussion on two part. One is the importance about the talent acquisition and talent management. Before that, I would like to give little bit of background about that, the how the the industries and the overall corporate world, what they are experiencing, and especially I'll keep my discussion around the talent, means the employees working in the organization and what their priorities are and how they are feeling. So if we talk about the the global pandemic, it's not impacted the well-being and health, but it's also impacted the social, economic, functional, and all other aspects of humankind which they are exposed to. It is not limited to the the well-being that it's impacted, but it's impacted the whole context. So we need to think on that perspective too. If we talk about the the countries and the organization, they are facing, some of them are facing economic trample, facing disruption in economic situation. The concept that has forced us to go for the work from anywhere, which is not like that is, it is the planned manner that we have done. It is our compulsion to go for that. And now this has you know created lot of work and areas to look upon. uh, so if we think about the employees' priorities, their priorities, and that how the relationship with the employers will continue. They are seeking for the flexible work arrangement. They are seeking for more work-life balance, and also how we value their physical and emotional well-being. That need to be relooked. Companies are also thinking about that how their culture can evolve with employees in order to attract, retain, and grow great talent. Companies need to fine tune or overall the culture to meet the expectation of professional to be seen as human being first. Gone are the days that company would lead with perks, thinking about ping pong tables and endless snacks, that kind of the feeling at that time, we call it home away from home. But now the thinking need to be reorganized and rethink that how we can make the employees office away from office, from the while the working from home. This is not only about the way that the employees functions, but also about that how the employees correlate with the organization. Now brand, and the big brand that we know, not enough to attract talent. Now we have to think that what purpose we are giving as a value proposition. That is something need to be relooked. Culture is going to be very important, uh, pointers that how we able to meet their needs. And when I say meet means that it's not limited to the brand name that we are talking or the salary that they are making. We need to look around that how we can enrich their experience, how we can enable them to continuous learning, how their soul being fed. All these things is need to be uh, relooked and revisited in current situation. I'll refer here the examples with reference to the talent ability and talent pool. I think you have you touched upon this point in your discussion, that talent is uh, moving. I would like to refer here the recent the web series. I would not say web series, but it is the TV show that is going on, Shark Tank India. And this has give us the ability to think that the talents is not limited, that is available within the corporates. Talents are available in abundance. We need to look and rethink about the recruitment process. Currently it is largely designed to look for the people working with brand names. But that when we see that the talents are available, we need to engage them with right purpose. So those are the things that I would like to highlight in the initial part of my discussion. Any question, anything that you would like to add, someone, and then I'll continue my discussion, or maybe later also.
We'll take the questions towards the end.
Okay. So let me complete my the input, and then we'll move to the next panelist. I think that would be the right way. So if we talk about the the trend that is prevailing in talent acquisition, however, I am not the talent acquisition professional, but whatever I have seen and the experience that I have, I can comment on that. So there are two very different paradox that is happening in talent world. One 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 hand, that some people are losing their job because of the industries, and in the another hand, the talent organizations and technological companies are facing challenge in hiring talent. So that need to be uh, that give the opportunity for the the organization like you, for school management and similar kind of institution, that how you can fill those gap wherever the talent is, the resource is available, but you need to reskill them. That is the great opportunity for the institution like you to think upon and fill those gaps, so that demand can be minimized. Coming to the talent acquisition practices that is happening in the industries in nowadays, that the technology, use of technology into the hiring processes, like job aggregator, resourcing tools, application tracking systems, recruitment CRMs. All those are not only helping the organization in hiring practices, but also improving into the candidate experience. When you do not have the technology, you have limitation, because you have to work upon so many uh, requirements. So then you sometimes, being a recruiter, we forget about the candidate experience, but use of this technology help uh, organization to to take those areas into the consideration too. It's also help the organization to save their time in the operational process, like identifying the resumes, finding out the right match from the for the openings. All those things, these technological enabled hiring help them to reduce, and the remaining time the HR team can focus upon the experience area and improving how we can improve the process as well. The second important thing that is coming up on that is the how you can utilize the gig workers and how you can quickly access to those uh, gig workers. So that needs to be create an ecosystem where you can give the project on demand basis, and then you can get the work done, because now having a full-time employees may not solve the purpose because of the uncertainty and also the expectation from the employees, and the workforce has changed. Another thing that we can do, or we are doing it, is that how we can create a talent network with help of internal and external people that we know. Internal, I'm referring here employees, and external is like the network that we have. Can we create something which can help us to reach to the large pool of talent in terms of employees referral, in terms of alumni of various universities, and the the customer that we are supporting. Such talent can help the organization to readily access the pool of talented people. Passive hiring is again another way to find out, and there is a study that has done by the in the US that 1 out of 4 openings that has been closed through the passive hiring. How you can do that passive hiring is uh, it's totally that how you can access the passive job seeker, how you can influence them, like by writing the white papers, writing about the what the vision and purpose of the organization, that how you are doing. So with this, I'm stopping here because my 10 minute is over, and I'd like to add in the next part.
I'm sorry, Mr. Veer, you said you'll take it up the next part in another set of some few
Yes.
minutes.
No, no,
All
no.
right.
I'm saying that you can pass to the next person. I'll take up during the question session.
All right. All right. All right. As you deem fit. Okay. So now, may I request Mr. Anand, Mr. Anand Amrit, Group Head HR Okaya Power Group. Please, looking forward to your deliberations.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Uh, I'll say right now the situation is like a blessing in disguise. You will say, sorry, whole world is suffering, and you are saying blessings. Why I'm saying blessings? Because the technology, the way technology has moved up, and the utilization of a technology are used by people in HR and other departments. That is a different aspect, which is helping in two, three aspects. First, your efficiency have been increased. Second, connectivity, the last mile of employee have been increased. Third part, your connect with people down to line up countries people are also been increased due to the technology. Now everybody is using WhatsApp, LinkedIn. There are many social platform where you can connect with people. Second part, which is very important right now, everybody has a phobia like what will happen, job will be secure or not. So industry is getting the corrections also. If you go 3 or 4 years back, uh, being a HR professional, because we have to manage organization and people both expectation simultaneously, and particularly for those organizations which are in a growing organization like us, Okaya has grown from 600 crore to 2,000 crore in last 3 years, and we are at a very transformational stage, and we are adding new products like lithium batteries, EV charger, EV scooters, and all. So what is happening? We have hired good people, good talent. One of the questions also, your current talent are good or bad? So I would say my current talents are really good because we have just hired 2 years back or 3 years back to forming new organization culture as well as a progressive organization. And when pandemic started, really it was a very tough job for HR to manage promoter as well as employee, how to retain both people expectation. Employee had a feeling that whether my job will be secure or not, whether there will be a salary cut. Lots of rumor and grapevines were going on in the industry. And the best part here, what HR can do, the communication needs to be very transparent and clear. So what I felt, and as an organization, Okaya felt that communication is very much important. The day lockdown has started, we have kept online first time Mahasampark. We have given the name. Why Mahasampark? Because we have connected 1,800 people together on our WebEx. And my chairman, my board of directors plus HOD have addressed them where we are, what are our 6 month plan, where we want to go. So that has given the confidence to employ. And trust me, we have the lowest attrition during the COVID period. We have not removed people, but this has given us an opportunity to groom people at the next level because earlier, particularly the organization where 80% people are in field, either a sales or a service, we always believe that no training, learning, and development can do once we'll go in field, book a hall, and give the lectures and all. But now we have made e-learning platform for everybody. We have created online content, then test programs and everything, which has helped people to learn faster. And one mind blockage which we had, ki, oh, 10 pass it, 12 pass service engineer, whether they're able to understand or not. So how to make more interactive and more innovative ideas that only occurred due to this pandemic. That's why I have said it's a blessing in disguise. Why I have said salary correction, if you go 2 or 3 years back, so during the appraisal time, I think we and everybody can say, once December, January, February starts, once people started their manpower planning, lots of attritions happen this time. And generally people say, I'm getting this, I'm getting this. Do the lots of, arm twisting, कि मेरी salary बढ़ा दो, नहीं तो मेरे को वहाँ मिल रहा है, यहाँ मिल रहा है. That has been reduced for particularly this 2 period due to the insecurity, you may say. I'm a little bit blunt, but it's a real fact which I'm talking. So it has standardized salary. People have not done any arm twisting because people felt right now security is more important. And I'll not say in industry too many uh, ram down have been done due to the pandemic because kind of industry we have, basic necessities are regularly over in demand, right? Like FMCG, FMCD sectors, there's a high demand always. Some part in automobiles, and some part of a company, technical skill company like a SCL Wipro might be there is a little bit down terms in uh, terms of revenue or work, but situation is not as bad as people are saying. So सबसे पहले for everybody whoever are participating, don't afraid. आप किसी भी century में जाओगे, if you go in a history, even though after the First World War, around 1920, you'll find there is Spanish flu, there are Haja, and lots of polios. Many pandemics occurred, and everything has been gone. So start living in the current scenario. Don't think much about the future. जो होना होगा सो हो जाएगा ना, जो नहीं होना होगा वो बाद में सोचेंगे. सो बी ए टुडे. और एक आज की आवाज एक पिक्चर थी, बहुत पहले, पता नहीं कितने लोगों ने देखी है, राज बब्बर की एक मूवी थी, तो उसने बड़े अच्छे से डिफाइन किया था, जो बीत गया उस पर हमारा कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है, दैट हैज बीन गॉन. आज जो है वो गीली मिट्टी की तरह होती है. उसको आप जिस शेप में डालना चाहो आप उसमें डाल सकते हो, और जो आने वाला है उसका तो कुछ पता ही नहीं। सो इट इज बेटर टू शेप योर प्रेजेंस। प्रेजेंट में अगर आप डर के रहोगे तो कुछ भी नहीं होगा. इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, डोंट अफ्रेड फ्रॉम एनीवन. Many people can say you are working in office, you have called people in office, but it's important. Think if you are not coming office, everybody will do the work from home. किसान भी work from home ले ले तो आपको लगता है farmer will take the work from home, will you able to get any fruits, any vegetable, any milk, anything? No. If traffic police say I'll take work from home, doctor say I'll take work from home, defense personnel say work from home. So if they can come, why being an individual as a social responsibility, it's a very important for HR. अपने comfort zone के लिए ना पूरी country, पूरी economy, पूरी society को you cannot keep on that stage where it can be crumbled down like anything. So if you remember being a science student, survival for the fittest. So dinosaur was the most intelligent, most heaviest, most strongest, but that was not fittest for the changing environment. So environments are changing, so don't worry. Come out, do practical thing. This has also happened. Lots of us human psychology will understand in last 2 years. Every day I receive around 50 to 60 emails, WhatsApps or LinkedIn requests that I have lost my job due to pandemic. Please help me. Now it's a very difficult task. You will have ask why you are getting talent immediately. The problem is that people are using this emotional aspect many times for stopgap. उसको आपने job दिया, after 3 months he'll join even though in the lower salary or the same salary or whatever the positions you have available, because you're helping everyone for their sustainability and uh, social need requirement. After 6 months, that he'll come with the offer and say, "I am going." So it's making lots of problem for organization as well as for that individual also. So being HR, it's very important to understand really who is in need and who is really have a tenacity to sustain in this changing environment. Another for young people, because I would love to focus more on the young people who are pursuing their MBA or a professional course. Focus on more practical aspect. Why practical aspect? Because see, if you are not coming to college, you don't have a much advisory from your professors, lecturer who are giving the practical scenario, practical example. From Google, of course, you can find the content, but how to execute those content or those ideas, that is only said by your professors or lecturer or whoever your mentors. So it's very important to understand that there will be two type of student, everybody, whoever. One who will work क्लास ऑनलाइन हो रहा है, तो आप काफी देखोगे वीडियोस बंद होते हैं. हमारे बच्चे भी करते हैं जो क्लास 10th में पढ़ते हैं. मेरा दूसरा अभी तक क्लास 3 पढ़ता है. उसको जब नहीं क्लास करना होता तो वीडियो ऑफ करते हैं, मजे से अपनी मर्जी से जो करना होता है. So but being a professional, since you people are investing your parents money and you are part of a college reputation also wherever you are studying, so it's very important to focus that classes which are going on online. For practical exposure, it's very important to increase the group discussion, and really these days webinars and Zoom पे जो हो रहे हैं, that is really good, like this kind of a session. But you participate these sessions very seriously with sincerity. If you don't have a sincerity, then your learning will not be there. So important aspect, as much possible, go on the practical aspect which will help you in job. Otherwise, why I'll hire a person from a FORE School of Management or MIT or IIM if they are doing also online course, जिसको हम पहले distance learning कहते थे, symbiosis से भी करते थे. So there will not much difference. Difference only can be created by your education fraternity, your professors and lecturers. Plus, it depends on you how you are creating differentiation from. Third thing, you must have a flexibility. Flexibility in the your mind, every professional, not only for the student, even though for me, you, everybody, switch on, switch off, how fast you can do. and you'll ask why switch on, switch off. कभी वीकेंड कर्फ्यू लग जाएगा, कभी ऑफिस 50% चलेगा, कभी 100% चलेगा. You are mentally prepared that I can work in any of the situation. If I am traveling by train also, I can work from train also. अगर मैं खेत की पगडंडी में बैठा तो वहां भी काम कर सकता. It's a very important how flexible in your approach. So पहले बड़ा होता था, we should have a very good office, everything, people should not disturb me. So just forget. Whatever the days you have an ability or you have a chance to come office, please come office, do the practical part. Whenever lockdown nahi hota, you can work from home also. But don't use work from home for your comfort zone. I'm not saying comfort zone because it will only impact on the work, it will impact on your body also. You see the professionals, their no, BPs are increasing. Even the young people who are 30 years, 35 years, their diabetes are increasing. So lots of stress, continuous watching your screens and be alert कि किसका call आ जाएगा, कब Zoom पे जाना है, कब boss का आ जाए. So these things create the mental stress. When you are in office, so backbiting तो करते हैं ना अपने bosses के, अपने colleagues का. So it's give you the stress burn. Stress से बाहर निकलने का एक chance होता है जो आप work from home पे नहीं कर सकते. And you'll find such kind of a reflection in your kids also who are not going to school. They are right now more aggressive. They are not more listening to you. They will try to be more aloof in his room or in his arena. So really, do we want to build such kind of a culture? So or not, that is very important. So I would say come out whenever you get chance, please come out. And जिंदगी जीने के लिए जियोगे ही नहीं तो फिर लाइफ को लंबा करके करोगे क्या. वो आनंद पिक्चर मेरे नाम से ही था, वो राजेश खन्ना की. जिंदगी जीने के लिए होती है, लंबी नहीं होनी चाहिए, अच्छी होनी चाहिए. तो जियो यार जितना जी सकते हो. एंड बी ट्राई टू बी एक्टिव. अगर आप करोगे तो आप दूसरों को एग्जाम्पल कर सकते हो. राइट नो इनसिक्योरिटी बहुत ज्यादा है, फियरनेस अमॉन्ग सोसाइटी. आप वो सोचो जो एक रिक्शा चलाता है बेचारा, उसकी क्या हालत होती होगी. एक सब्जी बेचने वाले जो होता है वो उसकी क्या होता है. अगर किसान ऐसे ही करते, जो विच आई हैव गिवन यू एग्जाम्पल. So I'll say for new generation, for new professional, be practical, be active, but set example for others to come out and do work. Trust me, this is not going to stop now. I would request go for the vaccination. जितनी measures है उसको जरूर follow करें, but afraid ना करें, इसको excuse ना बने, because many people are now making it say excuses. So thank you. Whatever I felt, I said little bit straight. Might be some people can say I'm not a good HR, but really good HR तभी है जब काम करेंगे तो अर्निंग होगी, काम करेंगे तो कंपनी को रेवेन्यू, अगर रेवेन्यू आएगा तो हमें सैलरी मिलेगी, हमें सैलरी मिलेगी तो विल बाय फॉर द फूड्स, तो किसानों को सामान मिलेगा. हम टैक्स भरेंगे तो शायद जो गवर्नमेंट प्रोफेशनल्स हैं उनकी सैलरी जाएगी. तो इट्स लिंक, इट्स कंप्लीट सोशो इकोनॉमिक थ्योरी है, पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट है. उस वेब में हम एक हिस्सा हैं और उसका जरूर निर्वाह करना चाहिए. वी शुड गिव द 100% फ्रॉम आवर साइड. बी पॉजिटिव, थिंक पॉजिटिव. थैंक यू.
Thank you, Mr. Anand. Thank you so much for the motivating words for the students, really. If I can just briefly sum up what Mr. Veer and Mr. Anand mentioned, just a few highlights that came to my mind, and before we move on to our another panelist member. So, Mr. Veer Bhatt mentioned about, did highlight the importance of this employer-employee changing priorities and the well-being of employees, which we are seeing in some cases in workplaces. We do see that, and there are places where they need to work on that. So, yeah, that's there. Candidate experience and is definitely a very important perspective that our participants, most of our participants are students, so that would be an important takeaway from them for them. Passive hiring too, and that is one takeaway for me as an academician, as a researcher to work on, like what and how about it. That's there. Mr. Anand talked about interestingly the transforming organization, growing organization, conglomerate of companies that you're working with. So, and giving our batches, new batches to come, hope, and the idea of prepare yourself mentally, physically, and yeah, prepping oneself for the future and for the changing environment. Thank you so much. Now, may I invite Ms. Gargi Banerjee, Head Talent Learning and Organization Development, Gulf Pharmaceutical Industry. Gargi, screen is all yours.
Yeah, hi. Good morning, everyone. Am I audible fully?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
you are.
Uh, I will be speaking, taking a clue from Anand, because everybody who is watching this webinar, they need to know, understand, looking at a job or being prepared for a job. uh, are you really looking only for a job, or are you thinking of a career? This is the fundamental question that we should start in our mind. And for professionals like us, we are representing probably a different generation, but the fundamentals remain universal across generations. So the fundamentals is in for the students who are right now, I think there are close to around 193 participants. So 193, uh, I should say, prospective uh, people, candidates who are thinking and who are trying to figure out how to be ready for this vast point of a job. My question goes to the participants. And this question, you need to sleep over it during the weekend. Are you really looking for a job, or are you looking for a career? Because career is a marathon. Job can be just a sprint. So this is fun point number one. If we are looking for a career, and I will think in that line when we discuss, it is the point of how we prepare ourselves and how we differentiate. And I'm completely talking for the students, not for internal employees. I will come to the internal employees later on. How you are being seen and how you are being perceived, it is one of the point that how you prepare yourself. Are you taking things just for having an energy to have 25 companies I have applied? Have you done your research? Are they fitting to your knowledge, whatever you are studying? Are they fitting to your larger 2 to 5 years plan of how you see yourself? It is very easy, and don't get me wrong, children, if I can and refer them that way, don't get me wrong. Uh, this this device is controlling us. We are being controlled by something which is actually, many a times, it is a divergent force which has let us think, or let us be very scattered in our mind. So many of the time, the biggest challenge, take aside the well being or mental health and all those words are probably coined just to cushion the excuse in a larger manner. I'm sorry, I may sound a bit bullish, but at times people use the word mental health just to be a bit more time lazy. I'm sorry. Yeah, I may sound a bit bullish. But when we are looking into the talent and we are being responsible towards our studies, towards our professors, towards our academic institution that we actually present, towards the commitment towards our parents about being so supportive to push us or to pull us to till this, and I'm talking to the students, we have a larger responsibility to give back, not to them but to ourselves. And when I talk about ourselves, that means that how serious and how sincere I am. Sincere seriousness does not talk about that 18 hours you will study. No, no, not at all. You should be ready in understanding how you are being differentiated in the eye of a recruiter for that particular company that you are trying to approach. When you are trying to approach to that company, you are in in a large hypermarket where there are shelves, in a recruiter is actually the buyer in that hypermarket. If you are a person or if you are a product who is actually giving a packaging which is not that nice, the content might be nice, but the packaging matters. So how critical you are in actually making yourself ready for that particular recruiter is the point that I really want to make sure that we pass on to this new group of people, because they are, if we create them properly, if we mentor them properly, they will be the future of coming 2 to 5 years in the entire job market. And now the things have changed, so the agility is one of the major point which I want to step up and I want to talk about, how critical you are in understanding you about your agility. With agility, you can think differently to a crisis. And that is what Anand was trying to mention. And Anand, I really appreciate the way you spoke, because I believe crisis brings character. You want to look at what, and this is of course this crisis, the global pandemic. We should not overhype this global pandemic just to say that yes, let us be driven by all those what should I say, nice indulgences of situation, which is actually probably pushing us a bit behind. I'm talking about us means the participants of this particular uh, webinar. Coming back to the second point is about the talent network. We are extremely nice and smart in Instagram and Reel and whatnot. How smart you are in creating a brand of yourself in the job market with the great work that you are doing, might be in FORE School of Management or IIM or a SIBM and XIMB. These are institutions which has who has contributed to the larger talent landscape, not only in our country but worldwide. So if you are a part of those elite institution, you have a larger responsibility. So please live up to that. Point number two. Second point is when we look at the capability. Uh, you are into the panel. You know, you are in front of the panel who is coming to do the campus placement for your, and they are coming to you to your college to do the campus placement. It is my ardent uh, uh, recommendation to the people who are right now listening, kindly do a research about the stage of the organization, about the stage of the life cycle of that organization that are coming to you to your college. I'm giving you a simple example. Life cycle of an organization means, is the organization is in a transformation phase? Is the organization in a stable phase? Is the organization in an expansion phase? Or is the organization is just on a maintenance phase? Please prepare yourself with those competencies which in recruitment term or in talent management terms, we talk about fitment. Your qualification matters, but your fitment matters most, because culture eats strategy for breakfast. Are you fitting to the culture that they are really opting in the near future? Are you fitting to that? Then, even if you are a 70-75% scorer in your overall grade, you might outplace the the top rank holders, because recruiters, when they look nowadays, the things are changing, that we are recruiting for fitment and skills, not only and not the knowledge, because every organization has a different way of shaping up the knowledge, and that knowledge is nothing but being practical and having the ground reality of how you can actually be fluidic enough to fit into that culture and deliver. First and foremost, for students like all of you, we are not looking at a huge impact from you in the first 1 year. We are looking at on your learning agility. We are looking at on your fluidity, on how you can merge, how you can integrate yourself, and creating a new workforce for the stage of the organization that we are into. And this is one of the major point which I want to highlight, that create that scope for you. Do not be divergent as the world is forcing you to be divergent. Please have a focus and a clarity of what are you right now, in what stage of your life you are into, and you are joining organization, how that your stage or your competencies are fitting into the larger organizational agenda of that. So this is one point. I may sound a bit bullish. I may sound a bit too blunt, but trust me, differentiation. I'm not talking about performance management. I'm not talking about those are big, big things, not applicable for you all actually right at this stage. It is about differentiation and the fitment and how we create a brand even in thousands of students that are in that panel or in that drive of campus recruiting, how you can create that small little brand or the aura that you are applying for that organization. What you bring onto the table, that is what is important. Trust me, knowledge and skill everybody has, or probably knowledge or no skill or no experience, everybody is there. But why we need to pick you is is the question, and that needs a lot of understanding, lot of research, and lot of, what should I say, uh, prepping up yourself for that. Yeah, that's it to start with. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So now, as we see, this is going to be really interesting panel. Couldn't be more diverse in terms of perspectives, and really interesting for all of us here. Thank you, Gargi, so much for giving another take on how students should see themselves as a talent and need to prepare themselves. Yeah.
Think about the analogy
Yeah,
of a hypermarket. That's it.
yeah, hypermarket. That was interesting. So we have with us Dr. Ankita Singh, who has joined us. So welcome, Dr. Ankita.
Thank you so much, Prachi.
Yeah. So before Ankita, as we had planned, may I just wanted to acknowledge your presence, Ankita. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, so now can we request Mr. Ashutosh Sinha, Head HR at Tuyasmart India, for your address. Looking forward.
Okay, thank you all. And I believe I am audible.
Yes, you are very much.
Okay. So the discussion is taking its peak, and as per what HR looks at or the corporate looks at. So I will be talking more about from the side of the students, because currently we are most of them are from FMS and a brand, and very basic things also which we look at. You might have done a lot of projects or done a lot of internships in your current course, or from your BBA or background, graduation background. But what is from my side is two, three things. One is focus as much as you can on your CV, because your resume will speak a lot, because a lot of things are now going towards AI skill search, and a lot of skills, because the I might not be looking at your profile, how you have written and what you have written. It's the technology which is looking at your profile. So जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. So whatever you write and the key points which you write will come up and pop up on those platforms, and then there is an advantage for you where the shortlisting can happen as per your requirement or needs, because AI can be good and bad also, where I emphasis more because I am from a technology company and artificial intelligence and IoT. So we talk a lot in terms of products and brands and the devices which we work on. But when we talk about human or when we are looking at the profile, there also we have included AI. But I don't know how much it helps. Still, the human factor has to be there where the HR will always look at. But you need to prepare your profile in such a way where you can put your key points, you highlight your key points, what you have done, how well you have done your project, the internship and project. Because when you have you have been into education, you have gone through that all test and group discussions, and you have reached a level where you are at par, because the organizations also look at some percentage, like some organization might look at we are looking at only people who are 80% and plus. So automatically the CV gets shortlisted, and some might be at loss also who are at 79% but might be good. So there all we can't help much, but where a student can help himself, that is more where how we prepare the profile, our profiles, how well we do our internships and projects. Because when we look for profiles, we tell to institutes ये percentage के लोग चाहिए, इस location से लोग चाहिए, इस industry के लोग चाहिए, because there might be students who might have worked for 2 or 3 years of experience. So there the shortlisting also happens where we are, since I am from an IT company, and so I will prefer somebody who is an electronic engineer plus MBA, or somebody who has some experience in an electronic company or कंज्यूमर अप्लायंसेस कंपनी और ड्यूरेबल कंपनी. थोड़ा सा हो जाता है कि कितनी जल्दी आके कौन संभाल सकेगा, and how fast they will grow in the system, and etc. So there it's very important how focused you are in your internship, because all your classmates have equally scored well. Everybody is good in group discussions. Everybody has got every knowledge which corporate is looking for. But the internship will matter a lot, where we actually come to know how much you were responsible with the when you had when you were with the corporate, and when you did that project for them, and was it appreciated, or have they taken some points. So a lot of questions in interviews, like I am part of Campus Connect also. So a lot of questions are in terms of project. So who was your manager, where is the address, how many people were there, and like Gargi said, how is the organization. Get complete knowledge, because whenever we look at people, we look at many other things. We look at how comfortable he will be in our environment, for example. So that is all we look at. But you need to prepare more about your skills more, and how another point would be how fast you can relearn. uh, Now everything is changing, so we always talk about relearning. So it's for all. We HR also are relearning every day. Like today also from the panel, I got various information which will help in my career ahead also. So we need to relearn also. So the students also have to be very focused on relearning, and uh, market is improving, so don't worry. Like Anand told, not to डरना नहीं है, because जो होना है वो होगा. And we are at that place that you are at FORE, so you are at least convinced, and you are at least confident that you are at one of the best institutions where corporates will come. तो आपको अब देखना है कि how well you are able to match the corporate's expectation, so that the hiring is equally beneficial to both of us. And the other things which I can talk is thoda sa stability factor, which now we look at how stable you are in your job also, and how you act when you are at job. That also matters a lot. तो थोड़ा सा stable रहना है, थोड़ा सा grounded रहना है, and look at various things. Your present company might only give you whatever you look for in your next organization. So don't look for many things, look for stability. You never know, 3 साल बाद कुछ और हो जाए. So there also we look at people, how the candidates or how employees were more stable with us. So numbers वैसे ही बनते हैं, who should be moved out, asked to leave. So you have to be key person of that company, where your boss also is there to रोकने के लिए कि नहीं ये जाना नहीं चाहिए. Don't always come up कि मुझे जाना है. So it should be either ways, where because you ultimately you as an employee build the organization. Human has to be there, people have to be there to build the organization. So everywhere what I think is we as a personality, what we think, what we think will act. So be true to yourself, be true to your company, be true to your organization, be true to your boss also. He will help you out in various things, and you will automatically grow in the system. And we as a HR make policies for you. So if you have looked at some policies which are good at some other companies, come and tell us. We will we will try to compile, because we also look for a good environment. आपका बर्थडे सेलिब्रेट करते हैं हम, वैसे HR रंगोली बनाता है, तो रंगोली बनाता है तो हमें भी मजा आता है उस रंगोली को बनाने में. So we are not that bad as a talent acquisition or HR people. So look at them as a mentor also, because HR can be a good mentor for you in the organization, where your boss might not be looking at you in that way, because he is very much looking at targets, and he has also some pressure. Your team member might not be looking at him because he has some competition with you. So approach your HR like you approach your when you are in institute, you approach your coordinators. Might not be professors also. Sometimes you go and approach your coordinators, because they might be very neutral to you. So that is where the HR is in a corporate like institution as a coordinator. So look at them, and not much to speak, because everybody has very valuable points. All points are very good. We need to compile, and you have to make a future. You are at least at the best places as academics when we talk about. So be positive. Look for good organizations. Don't take 2 offers and एक को लटका के रखो. Be very clear कि कहाँ जाना है. Like how what Gargi told us. Be very focused on the organization कि इसको भी लटका के रखते हैं, उसको भी रखते हैं. Because in that time you might be not helping your another friend. So take decisions, do your homework, think about the organization, think about your role, what role you are looking at. Don't change your streams. I'm doing specialization in marketing and finance, and my core is marketing, but I am getting a job in finance, so I'll go with finance. Wait, if you look at marketing as your core, look for good organizations where you get a job in marketing, because start has to be good, and when you start good, you will always rise. So these are few things from my side, and then we'll see if any question answer session happens. Any points for me, then I will take care of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ashutosh. So candidly put forth your points and help our students, specifically the mindset of a recruiter. So I'm sure students have benefited from that. Thank you so much. Now, may I invite Dr. Ankita Singh, Senior VP and Global Head HR, CIGNEX. Welcome, Dr. Ankita. Please, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Professor Prachi. I was just smiling after hearing Ashutosh when he said he's hardly left with any content, being the 4th speaker. Imagine my stage when I'm the 5th one. All key takeaways, students would have already got. But what I loved, I mean, I couldn't hear the first 2, but the way Anand put across, you have to live your life. And I think it will cover everything. The day we start doing that, probably we are there. I loved what Gargi said, and I heard her repeating, I may sound bullish, but that's the reality. I mean, the world, opportunities, market, everything is so straight and blunt. So the points shared were so valid. And Ashutosh, you were, I think, Prachi used the right word, very candid. I think if we are candid, if we are connected with people, probably things around us are much easier for self and others. And a very valid point. Sometimes when we hang people in between, like Trishanku, it is a disaster for our friends as well. So very valid point. Whatever I have, जो भी थोड़ा बहुत बचा हुआ है, and I'll try not to be repetitive. I'll just cover. So when we talk about talent pool, do we see that we have all that we need in the organization? Probably the answer is no, because time is changing, and with the pace at which things are changing, it is next to impossible to have the best of resources who have reached the best level and that will stay as is forever. That's not possible. So you need to, more than hiring, what I see companies today, they are focusing also on is building talent internally, right? So you have people, and there would be a level, and I'm sure a lot of you would have heard from your relatives who are already working in organizations that there's a job insecurity. I don't know because of COVID if I'll still have my job or not. So there are few organizations who decided this project is gone. We will release these people. We will terminate these people. There are other set of organizations who decided that we will invest in them. So even if at all we can afford, we will put them for upskilling. We will identify future skills. We will identify future market needs, and we will invest in the right manner. So instead of investing a lot more in hiring new people, putting them in the system, ensuring that they are part of the culture, we invest in people who have already been with us. And that's the approach. And even now, when we talk about internal hiring, that's the concept we are highly working on. But does that mean that we have stopped hiring or focusing on external talent pool available? Definitely, that's not true. Every organization wants, a fresh lot to be in the system who can bring in more creativity, more enthusiasm, more charm, and, makes it a more unified but a diversified workforce as well. So that's where, about the talent pool maintaining that the organization is doing. I heard everybody talking about future skills and where we want to be. So we'll not elaborate much on that. But when we talk about future skills, each one of you, and at student level, you must be hearing a lot of things, a lot of concepts around AI, ML, IoT, and tomorrow what percentage of job will remain with humans, and will it be machine human, or it will be 70% machine, 30% human? There's no clarity, right? Do you think that I may be able to give the answer? Where do we see ourselves 10 years later? Probably not. Even we don't know what percentage of us will be involved if we talk about the current positions or current skill set or current positions or profiles. So my uh, giveaway on this particular concept would be that somebody covered that technical or core knowledge would not sway away, right? So be it engineering, be it management, you will always have core to it. You will always have a place where you can contribute meaningfully. But one thing that AI, ML, IoT, or the technology that we've been talking about will take enough time to adapt or reach that level is replication of human skills. And that's one thing where we intentionally, probably in the institutions also, or at individual level, we are not putting the required efforts when we talk about human skills, be it, the C skills that we keep talking about: communication, creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, coexistence. I'm sure the other keyword that we all have mugged up because of COVID is empathy. But how many of us are actually practicing it? How many of us do actually understand the meaning, and how do we implement that in our daily life? So that is equally important. I would say invest really well when you are looking at your curriculum, when you do your summer trainings, when you do internship. focus really well, be a part. I think Anand mentioned that you have to have a practical knowledge more than theoretical. Be a part of the solution. It's okay. We have in our organization, when an intern comes, we say that you are a shadow resource. Shadow resource means what the project individual is doing, what a developer is doing. In a way, you will be replicating the same thing. So you get hands-on knowledge. You learn from working. It's not that you learn and then you work. You work and then you learn. So that's the process a lot of organizations have initiated, and it's really helping individuals. But from your end, the intent is really important, where you want to be part of the bigger system. Sometimes we come and we say, project hi to karna hai. It's just a 3 months duration. We will just finish that project and we'll go back, we'll put that certificate in front of the school or college, and we'll say we are done with it. How many of us, we really enter the organization with an intent of making a change, that I'll contribute to that level where they will say, Acha, khatam kab ho raha hai course, will you be able to join us? And that, if at all we walk in with that intent, if we collaborate, if we contribute to that extent, probably you are already part of a changing but a stable system. I really like what Abhishek said. You need to show stability. And the other two panelists that I heard, they say that you need to be flexible. A lot of times we get confused, stable rehna or flexible rehna. But the aspects are different, right? You have to be stable when you know about your intent, what side you want to go ahead and what path you want to select for yourself. But you need to be flexible, because unfortunately, we are not able to control things that are going around us, right? You have to keep changing. So please get that difference really well and stay awake to switch from stable to flexible. To conclude, I would say the 6 things that I keep saying or keep telling people or students primarily when I interact with them, that 6 skill sets or pointers keep in your mind. One is, at this point in time, two to start with. One is communication, and second is technology. No matter how great we are technically, I mean, with core skill set, or how good we are with human skills, if we cannot communicate, if we cannot listen, if we cannot participate, if we cannot talk about what we feel, what we want to do, it is always going to be in a mess, in a confused state, where you will not be able to give best of you and get best of what the universe has to offer. Second is technology. Lot of us, we keep talking about what percentage of technology has influenced our life. Take COVID period, probably whatever was running, 100% of it was dependent on technology in some sense. So do we see technology tomorrow, the lifespan of technology is going to go down, or the expansion will reduce? Probably not. Tomorrow, whatever we will do will definitely be technology enabled. So technology literacy is really important. So please focus on that. We may say, yeah, Zoom meeting or these meetings I don't like. That's another issue. It's a personal choice and perception. But can you run away from it? Probably no. You will have to be part of it. Any organization you would join, there would be 3 people who would say, let's do a Zoom call. And you will have to be prepared for it. You will have to understand how to control it, how to better use it, and be used to it in a sense, start enjoying it. So these two are basic and critical. The other 4, I will not elaborate too much because other panel members have already spoken a lot about it. One is adaptability. Every single day is changing. Please ready to take that next step. Somebody said, what got you here will not get you there. And we are every day defining a there. We are not talking about a new normal, which stays as a consistent phase. We are talking every day about a new and next normal. Every next day is becoming a next normal. So you have to be ready. Kal dusra din hai, I will be a newer person with a better investment in myself, ready to face the world with probably the best of my knowledge and skill set. Second, I would say continuous learning. Sometimes if I have done a management course and I'm good with HR. I have done HR. I have done some, second additional course as well. Tomorrow, I feel I have already bagged a job. I have been in the system for 3 years. I don't think I need to learn anything more, or I would want to invest in any other certification or course. I think that has to go away from our mind, or conceptually, as we have um, decided it for ourselves, that ek bar master degree aa gayi, that's the end of it. I think every day, a lot of courses, when you join tomorrow executive courses, those are purely case based, right? And every day you come across a lot of cases, on the job training, when you learn certain things, but there will always be a content which is not right in front of you, but it will definitely help you gauge a little more about the outside world, and it will give you a live example to understand and learn from it. So keep investing. We've been talking about relearning, upskilling, all those things, and that's what I mean by continuous learning. Keep investing, keep learning something new which will enhance your knowledge, and that will be the need. Third would be staying relevant. Little bit of research. I think Anand mentioned little bit of research, connecting with right people, using LinkedIn more than any other social media when we talk about our career, knowing where we are headed, what is expected out of us, and how much of me has to change to meet the need. So staying relevant is really important. A lot of times I take one example that, when I was doing my MBA, I still remember people used to use typewriter, and I met somebody who said, you know what, I can type 150 words in few seconds. And then somebody said, can you type 1,000 words a minute? And that individual said, yes, I may try. And I was just talking to that individual a few days back, that how is it, so were you able to meet the challenge? Says, yeah, try kiya hota, but typewriter kidhar hai? So you can get to that level where you can become an expert, but what if that entire stretch has become obsolete, right? That the thing is not there on which you have created or you have mastered. So you have to stay relevant. If not an expert, be good enough to survive in the things which are needed as on today, and stay open. Like I heard Abhishek taking example of marketing, and moving to some other stream. Obviously that should not be the first move. If you have invested so much, if that's your first choice, please explore everything, whatever extent it takes, to get into that direction and excel. But tomorrow, as I said, if you see that there is a clear cut closure, we will not be able to go beyond a level, because that thing probably will not stay after 5 years. Stay open to make that change. If I feel that I'm an HR professional and tomorrow I cannot take care of technical things, or if I cannot take care of IT support, or admin, or travel team in the system, because that's not my educational background, we should give away that thought. We should keep investing, researching, and we should stay open to explore as much as possible. To conclude, I would say, again, taking it from Abhishek, you have to have a mentor. Please identify your mentors, be it your organization, your institute professors, teachers, but do not ever show over dependency on them. Always remember, intent of HR or your professor or your parents or your mentor is to ensure that you can be make employable. So our focus is employability, not employment. Not everybody will be able to promise you an employment. So because everybody is investing well in making you employable, please make 100% use of it, encash it well, and opportunities are in abundance. So don't worry about that fact कि पढ़ तो लिया पर कल होगा क्या. There's enough for everybody. So all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ankita, for adding richness to the webinar towards the end of it. Thanks so much. Now, may I request participants to post their questions, though we did post the messages in the chat box where it's a Q&A round. While students or participants post their question, I have a question if anybody of you could address on behalf of academia and research fraternity. How now with COVID coming in, don't know where would it be a post-pandemic? As you said, it could be ongoing. So, how do you see AI as we talked about, and that is something of my research interest as well. And it is beneficial for students also. Um, how do you see AI being implemented apart from candidate screening CVs? So screening CV is what Mr. Ashutosh mentioned. Something also which what Ms. Gargi also mentioned something about technology. So anybody would like to address that? How far do you see beyond AI being implemented in hiring protocols beyond CV screening? Anybody?
Answer? Yeah. Should I answer?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So, not a fully foolproof AI, but in business processes, primarily in supply chain, in predictive analysis on forecasting. This is one area which supply chain demand planning is actually using. This is one area which I can tell you that it has been very nicely done to have those forecasting, and which will ensure that our production lines and accordingly the the business planning from the commercial. So this is how it is actually streamlining those inputs together and in one thread in the entire value chain of the business. And how quality, because I represent an organization which is a pharmaceutical manufacturing, as well as a large multinational pharmaceutical seller. So this way, these three elements are very critical. These three core functions are critical, and quality uh, brings in those inputs into the value chain, that these are the specifications when we are looking into the demand planning, or we are looking into the production, we are looking into the sale. These inputs for that particular molecule, these specifications are something which are inbuilt. So this way, artificial intelligence, yes, this way, these are the things where business is using it, and
Okay.
this is how it is
It's
beyond
very
the
much
the
in beyond screening as well, right?
Yeah,
So
of course.
students also need to be prepared, as Mr. Ashutosh also mentioned.
Yes. So
Yeah.
open the spectrum of your
Yeah.
mind, and you can actually look into the value chain. Uh, the best part about these students are that they are a part of an elite institution. So many things they are getting, which are really not available probably for the mass. So yeah, utilize that.
Though we have limited time, but I want if
Can
anybody want to
I
add
can
on top
I
of it.
can yeah,
Yeah, yeah, please go ahead,
I would
Mr.
like to
Ashutosh.
add, because I am basically from that industry.
Yeah.
uh, AI, not for humans, otherwise it is controlling everything. So if you talk about home, or you have all connected devices, you have a smart fan, smart AC, smart TV, and that all when you sync it, and then you have the lifestyle where it controls your lifestyle also.
Yeah.
So your emotions, or your time savings and electrical savings, so various things. So it's a good topic to study, where everything and anything can be automated and made smart.
Mm.
So that would be the future, where basically everything is smart now,
Yeah.
in terms of devices, automobiles. You look at like the supply chain, the tracking system that is on AI. So a lot of things are there. So,
Right.
but not very for us as a student, not to fear on that, because we
Oh.
always will be there
Yeah,
to.
you mentioned that. Well, yeah, like working on the CV is also something that you mentioned, highlighting,
Yes,
right?
yes.
That's there.
And what Ashutosh was actually mentioning was in the term of recruiters, it is like the keywords.
Keywords,
The
yeah.
the, the keyword search is critical for those kind of research for the role keywords and the organization keywords and integrate them.
Yeah.
Not only just to speak good, but please show the value of it in the real time, so that it is really integrated. It is just not for the sake of
For the
mentioning.
sake of, right. Yeah.
For
You
the sake
need
of
to.
mentioning. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't do that.
Like we
Yeah.
like we
Mr.
mentioned
Veer,
in our
you're on mute. I think you're trying to speak. Ms. Vineeta, I think we can use 5 more minutes for everybody to speak on it. Is that fine?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. V, you were saying something. You're still on mute. I can't hear you. I'm not sure about others. Can others hear him? No. In the mean, no, we still can't hear you, Mr. Veer. In the meantime, can I take Mr. Anand to share his viewpoints? Yeah.
See, any of the technology, since I have worked in the both kind of organization, I work for Wipro, SCL, then consumer durable manufacturing organization. So it's completely any technology. It's based on the garbage in, garbage out. So what you fill, that will come out, and it only work better if you are putting the right data, the right trend. If it's reflecting, then it does work.
True.
For screening purpose, I will not prefer as an individual. It's just my thought process, because anyone whoever writes their resumes, maximum people try to write whatever he knows words, technical words, वो सारे उसमें डाल देते हैं. Whether he or she has a exposure of that or not, practical knowledge or not. And when I'll take 1 minute only, because when I have started career in 2001, so I made a resume and I have written every aspect of HR in that: performance management, manpower planning, succession planning, whatever the terminology I was knowing, I have put. And I met, unfortunately, I was not selected through the campus, but that's what I have grown from lower to. This is my personal struggle. That's why I'm telling you. So I met one consultant. He has seen, he's a very 45 years old consultant. And still, he's a very guru and a good friend. So he said, तुमने सारा चीज लिख लिया, हैव यू वर्कड ऑन दैट? हमने नहीं, हमने जितना पढ़ा था वो हमने उस पर लिख दिया कि रिक्रूटर को पता चले यार कि मैंने ना, मुझे सब आता है. तो बोला यार तुझे तो सिलेक्शन होना नहीं है, गारंटी है. Then he said, just only write such things which really you know. So artificial intelligence or a Naukri, everybody is doing this, screening and searching. You put the words, you'll find whoever. You don't believe, many times I receive mails for the CEO position, or because I have done the production planning or the SAP implementation, I get job requests for that also. So it depends what kind of a words you are putting. It's very important. और मेरे ख्याल से रिक्रूटमेंट इज कंप्लीटली इट्स अ गट्स फीलिंग, व्हाट योर गट्स है. मैं सीवी देख के भी मुझे लगता है कि ये सीवी ठीक है या नहीं, तो मैं तो जरूर पढ़ना पसंद करता हूँ. एंड इवन दो आई टेक इंटरव्यू, दैट आल्सो ऑन अ गट फीलिंग. In my whole career, I hired more than 10,000 people, but I never took any interview more than 20 minutes. Trust me. And I built 3 organizations. Because that's, if positive waves comes, it's fine. If it doesn't come, no psychometric test, no artificial intelligence can replicate. Think about those people who build the organization at the initial stage. Either Dhirubhai Ambani had any artificial intelligence, Bill Gates had any artificial. They pick people as per their guts. And trust me, 90% time their guts are successful. So इंसान को इंसान की तरह हैंडल करोगे तो ज्यादा बेहतर रिसोर्स, बेहतर स्टेबल लोगों को आप हायर कर पाओगे. ज्यादा टेक्निकल तो नहीं होगा, you will able to hire, because right now it's very important the tenacity of an individual to sustain with the diversity. Changes are happening across the world, and might be due to the pandemic, due to the economic scenario. आज अमेरिका सैंक्शन लगाता है रशिया पे, आपका सेंसेक्स 1000 गिर जाता है, कितनी कंपनियों के करोड़ों इधर से उधर हो जाते हैं. So it's very important to understand what is the tenacity. Tenacity, artificial intelligence cannot find that. Only once you start discussing, once you start conversation, then you will able to find out whether that person have a tenacity, that person have a ability to stability or not. और साइकोमेट्रिक ऑल्सो मेनी टाइम डिपेंड्स अपॉन योर माइंड सेट. मैं बीवी से झगड़ा करके आऊंगा तो मेरा रिजल्ट कुछ और आएगा, मेरा बॉस मुझे प्रेज कर देगा तो मैं कुछ और रिजल्ट आएगा. इट्स अ वेरी, आई हैव सीन एंड हैव डन इन माय ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. So I'm not much believer of a technology to handle human being. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so we're not blindly following a technological intervention.
Those are indicators, rather than the core decision making elements. Those are indicators, and we should look into them as indicators only, rather than being driven completely, because the fitment and what Anand is trying to say, fitment and ability to handle complexity is the critical point, and probably it is the only point in the medium to long run.
Right. True. So we have a quick question for Mr. Veer from Meghna. If and in the interest of time, that would be the question. And before we end, before Vineeta comes in, so
Yeah, so I have already typed my answer. I don't know if I'm audible or not.
all right. All right. Would you
I don't
please
know if
read
it's
out that?
making
Read out
sense.
your answer, Mr. Veer. May I request you to?
Okay, okay. So I think the her question was that how HR professionals balancing this employee expectation, keeping in mind the organization interest. So because I represent the IT arm of Yamaha Motor Solutions, Yamaha Motor Japan, and especially I am taking care of the IT employees, and these are in there is a huge gap of supply and demand in this area. So we have to right now we are more thinking that how we can help people to tackle with the challenges. Okay, and many times people say that it's just about the matter of supply and demand, but what I believe personally is that it's not about the gap, the gap that is there into the supply and demand, but it is the reality that is going to be that how well we understand our employees needs. And when I say needs, that is I'm referring the personal needs too, and how we can balance their professional and the personal the requirement. For example, we are almost more than 2 years we are working in a virtual mode. The expectation from the family has changed. You want or not, the people, those who are working from home, they understand this line very well. That earlier, when you leave your home, maybe for your family will expect that you will come in evening and then you will do the course and other stuff that is needed. But now the expectation has changed. So are we prepared that to support those things or not? That need to be make a balance. So in that context, I have written here that out of office, outside work, that manager and the HR should talk, informal talk that we need to keep. It is like in today's virtual environment, what happened that we are very agenda driven. Meetings happen, and you talk only about the work and then close. So there is no connect, and you don't understand the situation of the individual, that on what requirement that person is going on. So that is the reason that people also think that it's just my the connection is limited to this box only. So I'll close this box and give back to this company, and we'll take from the another company, and then we'll start working. So that need to be relooked, that I'm saying.
Well, really, very well said. Yeah.
Prachi, I need 1 minute. I have to appeal young professional.
Please go ahead. In the interest of time, yeah, if you could keep it short.
Only 1 minute.
I'm sure they must be hungry now. Yeah.
I would request everybody, whoever is a professional and who is going to be a professional, keep business continuity. If there is no business continuity, no existence of any professional, any of the uh, any of the field anywhere. So I would request everybody keep continuity, and keep continuity only happens business continuity once will not spread rumors, will not focus more what are happening across the world. Focus on yourself, be practical, be different. If you are keeping all these things, no one will stop to be successful for yourself. You can succeed with only keep or be original, be practical, be different from the others. Thank you.
Thank you. So on that note,
Let them join the industry. Anand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, on that very note of Mr. Anand, let me just thank the wonderful, diverse panel having giving insights to me, to the other co-panelists, and the participants, of course. And I'm sure they have benefited from this a lot. So thank you so much. And this also highlights this panel discussion. So this webinar also highlights a venue for further such deliberations and efforts from our part. And hopefully we, FORE School of Management, along with FWA, would continue this as, and thank you so much. Thank you so much, dear participants and panelists. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, may I please pass this baton to Ms. Vineeta.
Thank you so much, Professor Prachi. Actually, you did it very beautifully, and I would like to thank all the speakers. And the message that goes for the students is that, as Mr. Anand said, you have to be very original, and also all the HR heads, as they said, please किसी को लटका के मत रखो. That is the beautiful thing that. Yeah, and you do your research definitely before you, get on board. So, and it has been actually very meaningful and of course, I am sure the students will definitely benefit, and we hope forward to meet again. And definitely the partnership with FORE will keep on continuing. Thank you so much, Professor Prachi. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Last point,
Thanks.
just
Yeah.
remember that crisis brings character.
Yes, yes, that's true.
Just keep that in mind. You will sail through everywhere, every
Yes,
time, throughout your
yeah.
life. Just
One has to
keep that
be
in mind.
honest. Yeah, one has to be honest and love yourself and be positive. That's the message that everyone gives.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone.
Thank
Bye.
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, thanks.
Thank you.
Take
Take
Bye.
care of
care.
yourself.
Take
Bye.
care, all of
Bye.
you. Yeah. And
Thanks.
we'll
Bye.
be, we'll connect. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, sure, sure.
Bye, Veer.
Bye all.
Bye, bye.
Thank you, Neeraj.
You, ma'am.
Chaliye. Thanks.
Thanks, thanks.